Ibn al-Qayyim, he says in his book Al-Fawaa'id, he says, إذا طلع نجم الهمة في ظلام ليل البطالة وردفه قمر العزيمة أشرقت الأرض بنور ربها. Subhanallah. He says, إذا طلع نجم الهمة, when the star of aspirations, and as the star of high aspirations, when it appears, في ظلام ليل البطالة, in the darkness of the night of laziness, وردفه قمر العزيمة, and then it is followed by the moon of determination. When this happens, he says, أشرقت الأرض بنور ربها, the earth is illuminated with the light of its Lord. ما معنى هذا? When you want to seek knowledge, if you are given these two things, himma and azima, if you are given ulul himma, high aspirations, and you are aspiring to memorize Sahih Bukhari and Sahih Muslim, for example, and this your aspiration is to memorize Bulugh al-Maram, Umdat al-Ahkam, you have high aspirations, and then with your aspirations you have azima, determination. You know how to get there. You are determined, resilient in your path. You are memorizing a hadith every single day, or even half a hadith. You're continuing. You're not going to stop for anything. Even when you're sick, you continue to memorize. When you're ill, you continue to memorize. When you're busy at work, you always find time. You take your matan with you, and in the train you start reading and memorize it in the train, on the bus, at work. When you've got 30 minutes or something, lunch, or 1 hour, in your lunch break, you memorize the hadith. You will always find time, because you've got that determination. When this happens, أشرقت الأرض بنور ربها. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will illuminate your heart with the light of ilm and knowledge. نعم أخي. طيب. Then the Shaykh says, وإن مما يعلي الهمة ويسمو بالنفس اعتبار حال من سبق وتعرف همم القوم الماضين. انظر إلى هذا. Subhanallah. He says, now we come to the conclusion. Now we come to the question. If we know that we need to have high aspirations, how do we have high aspirations? The Shaykh says, by looking at the situation and pondering and reflecting over the situation of those who preceded us from the righteous predecessors. By looking at their seerah. He didn't say by looking at my biography, let me tell you my biography, and then you will have ulul himma. No. He said by looking at the biographies and the seerah of those scholars who preceded us. فأبو عبد الله أحمد بن حنبل, أبو عبد الله أحمد بن حنبل كان وهو في الصبا ربما أراد الخروج قبل الفجر إلى حلق الشيوخ فتأخذ أمه بثيابه وتقول رحمة به حتى يؤذن الناس أو يصبحوا. Abu Abdullah Ahmad ibn Hanbal, he used to, when he was a young child, not a young man, a young child, sometimes he wanted to leave his house before Salatul Fajr so he could go and sit with the scholars before Salatul Fajr. His mother would pull him back by his garment and out of compassion for him and say, wait until the adhan is called. Ikhwan, I want you to ponder over this athar here. Should we be more amazed at the fact that there were lessons before Fajr, or that Imam Ahmad, while he was a child, would want to go to these lessons that were before Fajr? Which one? Where should our amazement be, ikhwan? There were lessons before Salatul Fajr. This is before the adhan of Fajr. And Imam Ahmad rahimahullah ta'ala was a child, and he wanted to go to these lessons while he was a child. Sabi, ikhwan, Sabi. We're talking about 8 years old, 7, 6, a child, subhanallah. وقرأ, and listen to this athar. وقرأ الخطيب البغدادي رحمه الله صحيح البخاري كله على إسماعيل الحيري في 3 مجالس. Al-Khatib al-Baghdadi rahimahullah ta'ala, he read the whole of Sahih Bukhari, all of it. He read on his Shaykh Ismail al-Hiyari, he says, in 3 sittings. The whole of Sahih Bukhari he read in 3 sittings. اثنان منها في ليلتين من وقت صلاة المغرب إلى صلاة الفجر. The first 2 sittings were 2 nights in a row from Salatul Maghrib up until Salatul Fajr. So he sat with his Shaykh from Salatul Maghrib until the next day Salatul Fajr. واليوم الثالث, and the 3rd day, from the morning, يعني straight after he prayed Fajr until Salatul Maghrib. Continuous. انظر يا أخوان. How many hours is that? And he's sitting there reciting the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. وكان أبو محمد بن التبان أول ابتدائه يدرس الليل كله. Abu Muhammad ibn Tibban used to seek knowledge the whole night. فكانت أمه ترحمه وتنهاه عن القراءة بالليل. So his mother used to come to him and say, and used to, out of compassion for him, used to tell him to go to sleep. And يعني she used to prohibit and forbid him from doing this out of compassion for him. فكان يأخذ المصباح ويجعله تحت الجفنة. So he used to take a little lamp, light, some and fire or a candle, and he would place the candle underneath his covers, ويتظاهر بالنوم, and he used to pretend to be sleeping. فإذا رقدت, and when his mother slept and she went to sleep, he would remove the candle and continue where he left off and seeking knowledge. انظر subhanallah. This is a man he's not a man, he's a young child, a teenager. And he's hiding the fact that he's seeking knowledge from his mother. What do teenagers hide from their mothers now? Only Allah knows, subhanallah. فكن, he says, the Shaykh says, فكن رجلا رجله على الثرى ثابتة وهامة همته فوق الثريا سامقة ولا تكن شاب البدن أشيب الهمة. He says, be a man, he says, who has firmly placed a strong foothold upon the earth. And do not be a person who has the body of a young man, but the aspirations of an old man about to die. Very important lesson, ikhwan. فَإِنَّ هِمَّةَ الصَّادِقِ لَا تَشِيبُ. For indeed the himmah and the high aspirations of the one who is honest and truthful, لَا تَشِيبُ. لَا تَشِيبُ, do not become old. Your himmah and your aspirations, ikhwan, they do not become old. كان أبو الوفاء بن عقيل أحد أذكياء العالم من فقهاء الحنابلة ينشد وهو في الثمانين. Abu al-Wafa ibn Aqil, and he was from the fuqaha, yunshid. He used to say some lines of poetry while he was 80 years old. He used to say, ما شاب عزمي ولا حزمي ولا خلقي ولا ولائي ولا ديني ولا كرمي وإنما اعتاض شعري غير صبغته والشيب في الشعر غير الشيب في الهمم. He says that my azima, my determination hasn't waned, hasn't grown old, and my akhlaq and my etiquette have not grown old, and my religion has not grown old, and my honor and my generosity has not grown old. However, what has grown old is my hair, because I haven't dyed my hair. He says, وَالشَّيْبُ فِي الشَّعْرِ, and shayb or growing old, your hair becoming grey, is not similar to your aspirations growing or becoming grey, like an old man. So this is very important, ikhwan. Al-ma'qad, to summarize, the third ma'qad is to have high